So good. Can tell us like 2, 3 things that a person can do to make him or herself sell them better, right? As a person, what can they say? It's usually honesty that works. That's what I believe. But like in your career, you would have seen certain things that usually works, right? Like when you initiate a conversation with someone, and you know that, hey, yeah, this thing usually works. I'm able to establish a relationship with the person sitting on the other side. Um, can you think of like 2, 3?
Yeah, sure. I can do that.
Hmm.
Uh, I think the first thing element is to understand that whether you want to be truthful or you want to be politically correct.
Okay. Okay.
See, politically correct means uh, Ravi, great specs
Right.
for me.
Hmm.
Truthful means red doesn't look good on you.
Hmm.
So you have to identify those things. You can only be truthful to the person you probably know.
Right. Hmm.
So, having said that, if you're going directly to somebody who's unknown or stranger, it is good to be a little politically correct first.
Right.
If you're going through a connection, you understand, and the connection has made an intro to you. You can be truthful, saying, "Sir, I know I'm calling at 9:30. I hope you don't mind because AXYZ told me that I can call you anytime. I hope it's okay with you. I'll disturb you on a dinner table. Is that okay?" Smiley, it's okay, right? To send like this. But
Hmm.
if you're sending it to CEO whom you're directly saying and you're 9 o'clock in the night, you're sending him a mail on a LinkedIn or probably on an email, you better be clear in saying what are you writing. So you
Right.
better write saying, have to be short and crisp. So selling, I think the first handshake should be very crisp, should be direct,
Hmm.
and to the point, because the person who's reading it, you can't make a fool out of him. But
Hmm.
if he understands it, so for example, if I want to sell something out as an enterprise product to somebody else,
Hmm.
I would probably not give my history to him because he might know it.
Right.
From that perspective, I'll just give my website link and not tell about myself. It is like that spam that comes on LinkedIn, 400 emails a day, which say, "Here is what I am," and 100,000 words, and then talk about what you need. So it's better to say, "Look, I am into this X business doing
Hmm.
this. I
Hmm.
understand that you require A, B, C.
Hmm.
I will require just 10 minutes of your time convenient to you and whatever it is.
Hmm.
Hope that is okay with you." If you can put some reference into it, nothing like it. It adds more value and credibility. It's always B2B because this is B2B, so I would put it this way. When you're
Hmm.
communicating with somebody who's a decision maker,
Hmm.
please use a reference if you can first. He was always valued and validated that email or communication. Otherwise, 90% chances if he doesn't find the communication too lucrative. I mean, see, he's a human being, right? The CEO. He must have fought with his wife. He
Hmm.
must have fought with his kid. He
Hmm.
would have had a bad day at office. His money would have gone down in the stocks. What mood do you know he's accepting your email ID, your email communication in? You
Hmm.
don't know that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So you have to be a little generic. You have to be a little focused in terms of giving a crisp, small call to action email or a communication to him, which ideally should have a reference of
Hmm.
somebody he knows or trusts.
Hmm.
50% of your job is done there.
Right. So you start with a reference and then you talk about what's the solution that you can offer that will solve this
So,
problem.
so for example, if I write a mail to you where I want to pitch my growth team or growth crowd sourcing to you, and
Hmm.
you are an enterprise and who wants growth as his mindset
Hmm.
or growth as a product or a growth as a service, whatever you call it.
Hmm.
So if I write to you saying, "Moses, you know, this is Ravi. Manish gave me a reference. Manish Gupta gave me a reference from XYZ company,
Hmm.
and he spoke highly about you. Full
Hmm.
stop."
Hmm.
Second line would be, "I have a team of supercharged, energetic folks who have helped 20 enterprises get into growth cycle in no time.
Hmm.
All I need is 20 minutes of a time as convenient to you. Here's my calendar list. Please pick and choose your time with convenient to you. I look forward to hearing from you."
Done.
50% chances that you've taken the sale up there and then. I
Yeah.
can guarantee that.
Hmm.
But what people generally do is this is how they do it.
Hmm.
Dear Mr. Moses, I hope I think pandemic has screwed everybody up. I hope you are having beer. Beer must be chilled. I don't know if it's not chilled. Let me make it chilled for you. Earth is going to fall down. Jupiter is going to crash into Earth. Blah 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 blah. And then suddenly they will say, "Sir, we are into the business of XYZ.
Hmm.
Would you want to test it? Here's the video also." At 9:30 in the night, if this mail comes to me, even if I want to, buy into that person's mind, I will reject it outright and put it in my dustbin.
True. Okay. So now this is for decision makers, but like in a B2B scenario, you would also be interacting with not just decision makers, but like there's a level in which like we have to eventually get to decision makers as well, right? For example, Zing HR, and if you're selling an onboarding product, right? So because the HR executive is going to be using the product, and then probably you have your digital transformation or like chief digital officer who kind of looks at all the products that kind of gets into a company, and then it goes to the CXO level who's going to sign the thing, right? Is that how then your messaging is going to change as per the person that you're going to be talking, or it's the same?
Yes, the messaging should be different because the decision maker is direct. It's
Right.
like small, crisp, to the point with the reference. For the non-decision makers, you have to think like how he would receive your mail,
okay,
or your communication. So that there are two things into it. Part is he might recommend, he might not recommend.
Right.
The second part is there will be competition who will also be doing the same thing as you're doing. You're not Michael Jackson that you will do a moonwalk and he will dance on you. No, he will not. So the chances, in considering both these factors, you have to keep in mind that you have to give him enough content, enough crispy stuff that he can project it to the decision maker or makers and project it out and say, look, here is something that I like. Here is something, how is it different? And here is something that we should definitely use. So he becomes your influencer of your brand,
Right.
internal influencer. So you have to create that. So when I send a communication, or when somebody sends a communication to a non-decision maker, you have to basically create that guy into an influencer of your product and brand to the stakeholder who you are pitching to.
Lovely. Okay.